So in this video of drawing anime poses step by step, I chose to use a couple of poses of Ichigo from Bleach. And this one I chose because it kind of like I had like a little top down view. So I wanted to kind of show how I would use the shapes to draw that. And so right now, starting out with the head, I'm drawing it at a slight angle to kind of show the lines of where everything would go, like the line in the center for where the eyes are at. And I'm drawing the neck, and the neck is simply just go straight down. And in every pose I draw, I always would draw the neck straight down, and you would adjust the body accordingly, usually by erasing and things like that. And so right now I'm making a circle and the center line, and I'm kind of just using that to create that rib cage. And typically when you're drawing the chest, you can always go in there with the circle every time, and you're using the inside of the circle to kind of break it up, the rib cage, and right now I'm doing the collarbone and things like that. And it's kind of a easy way of doing that, because sometimes when you're drawing the chest area, sometimes you would draw it without drawing that bottom part of the circle. You're erasing the bottom half and showing the rib cage a little more, but it's easier to just draw the circle out, because every pose that you draw is just the circle for the head, circle for the chest, and then a half circle for the waist. And the waist can go up and down as far as you want, depending on the size of the model. So right now I'm working in the legs, showing that in drawing it a little bit perspective, drawing the foot out and darkening the lines. I kind of see a little bit more. And I'm working the other leg in, since the other leg is a little it's kind of in the background, so it's usually a little bit shorter. So I'm drawing that, adding the cylinders for the leg, bottom part of the leg, and then drawing that foot. And I'm making the arm, same thing, cylinder for the arm, and a circle for the elbow, another cylinder for the forearm as you go down. And it's kind of it's an easy way to jot down and get poses down quickly. I mean, you have the gesture method where you can draw it down, and you also have, using shapes. Me, I like to use shapes depending on the pose I'm doing. Sometimes when I'm drawing a lot of thumbnails, then I'm automatically just going to know where the pose is going to go. And I've drawn these shapes thousands of times for me to draw the character straight out without really using this method. But this is a starting point for how I was learning, how to get these poses and enjoy these poses. That's why you've seen some of my videos where I'm drawing this pose out and I erase the whole thing, and then you see me just drawing the details of the figure just straight off, because it's kind of like you already have an idea what to do. So if I was making sketches and thumbnails of my own characters, then I could just go in and either draw it out, or I can use shapes like this to figure out the perspective or things like that. Or you can use the old method for perspective, with the ruler and things like that. And right now you see the blades. I didn't really focus too much on the blades. I kind of just threw them in there just because, just to have a little something extra to put in there. I don't think I didn't add any detail to it. I'm just kind of just throwing it in just to fill in some more space and use a little bit more time, since I have enough time from drawing it quickly. And I'm just going in, just darkening all the areas, filling in some of the waist. Now for this one, I chose him because he has like this little stance, and I decided to do this one as more of a close-up. So kind of a way of, sometimes you can change poses up, especially if you want to use this pose for your own characters. You can just take certain poses and have a close-up, or far away, depending on what you're trying to do with it. So I wanted to do something different and make it a little close-up. And so right now I'm starting out the normal way as I usually do before, with the circle for the head, circle for the chest. Sometimes you'll see me go across the circle multiple times, because I'm kind of like, it's almost a way for me to warm up with my hand without necessarily marking or doing other things on the paper. Without, you're making multiple marks, and I don't want to do that. I'm just going over the line multiple times to kind of get the hand warmed up and loosened up, so I can start drawing and adding things in, which will cause, hopefully, less mistakes, because your hand is loose enough. So right now I'm adding in the circle for the shoulder, and you see I'm overlapping that shape where the um, the arm is. I'm kind of going up with the forearm to create that hand. And you see how quickly I did that for that foreshortening on that arm. Simple method. You know, when you're foreshortening, especially with the arm like that, and you're in that position, you're just overlapping. It looks like you're overlapping circles, basically. Draw one circle, and you overlap another circle, and then add the cylinder for the forearm, and then there you go. Now for this one, the arm is down, so I just drew the circle. I drew it real light in the inside, and I drew it heavy on the outside. I'm not really trying to overlap it too much with the inside, because I don't want to confuse a little bit, since even though the arm is forward, but I will convey and show that when I add that arm in. So right now I'm adding in the handle for the sword. I'm drawing that hand in, like it's grabbing it. And because of the weird positioning of how his hands are grabbing each sword, like, yep, on the top, he's holding it with, his hand up. And on the bottom, he has his hand, his forearm is turned facing towards the camera. And, you want to show that even in the shapes a little bit. That way you kind of just know, what to do when you're adding in details. And you see right now I'm drawing in the circle to the front. That way you can see that the circle of the shoulder is leaning forward from the chest. Because if I drew the circle behind the chest area, then it's kind of like, when your hand is, the arm is going backwards, but since the arm is going forward, and I'm going to show that with the circle. I think I've have some videos like that in my older videos that shows me drawing the circle behind the chest. I'm adding the cylinder for the forearm. And darken that up. Getting it down quickly. I'm adding in the hand. And usually I would draw just a big shape for the hand, but this time I want to just, drawing each shape piece by piece to kind of, that way I can draw the sword inside of it and then add the other parts of the fingers as I go. You see how I drew the handle, I drew pieces of the hand, I drew the handle, and I have the sword going down, and now I'm just going to add the fingers in, gripping the sword. That's more of a base point. That way, when you start to add details to it, you already know what's going on, you know where the fingers are, and you just throwing it down there. But when you're doing this stage, even if you're drawing shapes, I recommend just drawing the hands out too, because you want to practice drawing hands also. Just draw the hands out with the shapes. That way, when you start to add details to it, you're not working as hard because you have the shapes for the hand already there, and you're just drawing on top of it. Plus, it's in a way to practice drawing hands also. I'm just erasing off some of the things that are jumping up in the center, so your eyes aren't too confusing, seeing all these different overlapping lines and things like that. Erasing that. Erasing most of the areas and darkening some of the more lines. I'm adding in the little rib cage, the chest area. Because you can draw the chest in sometimes, or you don't have to. It's all up to you. You're just pinpointing and adding in certain things to make it easier for you to figure things out. But that's it for this video. Want to see more videos like this? Hit the like button, subscribe, and comment for any other poses you want to see. And take care.